Yeah, yeah. Coming up on Mental Health Marty, Black men, disgraced and discarded. You want to check this out. Stay tuned. What's up, everybody? Yes, it's me, Martina Sellers, your mental health hygienist, coming to you live and in living color in Southern California, where the sun is always shining. And we want you to join us now. I got you over here on IG. Listen, check me out on Mental Health Marty on YouTube. Why? Because we're over here telling you the truth about everything. Listen, y'all, last week I had some challenges. Are you ready for this? I was on my personal sabbatical, and I was in Las Vegas. I was like, I'm going to shoot my show from my timeshare. And what happens? The internet connection is not strong enough for what I need to do. So I was not able to do it from there. So we're here this week, and I'm so glad that you're here with us today. Hope you're doing well. Listen, let us know you're listening and let us know you're doing well. Listen, I'll move this over here. Hello, everyone. Jonathan, what's going on? Jonathan, how you feeling? Yes, y'all. Listen, I got you here, and we got a great show coming up for you tonight. Listen, hope you are doing well. We are in springtime. It has been a beautiful day out here in Southern California, but we got some conversations to have. But let me remind you about the Mental Health Marty Show. What are we here? The Mental Health Marty Show. Let me put on my more professional voice. We are a psychoeducational program that is designed to help you along your mental health journey by improving your mind so that we can change the stinking thinking so that you no longer secretly suffer in silence in the shadow of shame. However, if you're experiencing any type of psychological or medical emergency, we want you to go to your nearest urgent care as soon as possible. Don't pass go, don't collect $200, don't even talk to your baby mama, but go to your urgent care. But if you are all right, we want you to stay tuned because we got a great show for you tonight. And for that, listen, IG, switch over to Mental Health Marty on YouTube, and you'll get the rest of us because we are so excited about everything we have offered tonight. So we'll see you on IG, and we're going back over here. Yes. And so how are you doing? We hope all is well. Now, how do you engage in the show? Again, I'm so glad that you asked. Because you are watching us on YouTube, just simply post your comments in the comment section, and we will try and read them as soon as we get them because we want this to be an engagement form. Listen, do me a favor. If you have not already liked and subscribed to that, this is how you do that. You go to Mental Health Marty, you hit subscribe, you hit like, you hit the bell, ding, it lets you know that you're subscribed. And then you also want to make sure that every time we go live that you will get a message because we got some important stuff to share with you on tonight. I am so glad. So what are we talking about tonight? I'm so glad that you asked me. When we're talking about the mental health of Black men, you know, Black men have been so, I don't even want to say subservient have not been given permission to have feelings. We have not been given permission to speak up, to speak out, to live. We are expected to be either the angry black man or the buffling buffoon. But we have so many other range of emotions in there. But we have been societalized. Is that a word? Y'all, I'm just excited to be here tonight. We have been so socialized in our thinking, even within our communities, on our jobs, in educational systems, in law enforcement. Everywhere we go, it feels as if, as a black man, it feels as if I always have to watch my black. And so I'm going to say this: the black man, disgraced and discarded. And tonight I want to talk about at least this tonight is hot topics about the black man on the Mental Health Marty show. And I want to talk about Ryan Coogler and Jussie Smollett. Now, who is Ryan Coogler? Ryan Coogler is this amazing director who is the director of Black Panther. And he's done some amazing things. He's got some other shows out there, but he's best known for that. And you can't even, most people, one, don't recognize his name, and two, don't recognize his accomplishments. So when I don't recognize who you are, and don't recognize what you do, and don't recognize your power, oftentimes you are then put in the category of everyone else, just a discarded and disgraced black man. And if you're not careful, you can be at the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong set of people and find yourself ending up at the wrong place, being jailed or locked up in a squad car. And then we deal with Jussie Smollett. Now, y'all, I'm not going to lie. I got a lot of emotions around all of that. But he's getting some things that may not be due to him. Now, do I agree with everything? I don't know. I'm not Jussie. I don't know what's going through his mind. But hey, what up, my man? What's going on? How you feeling? Good to see you. Definitely. But when we're talking about just daily living, the black man struggles to live on a daily basis. Why? Because he's discarded and he's disgraced on so many levels. But I'm so glad that I'm not here to discuss this by myself. I'm so glad that I have coming with us tonight the bishop, well, I'll call him the bishop, the pastor, none other than for Freedom Church Houston, none other than Pastor Justin. Pastor Justin, how you feeling, my brother?
I am wonderful. How are you?
You know, I can't complain for this Tuesday evening. So how's
awesome.
life been treating you out there in Houston?
Everything's been going great, man. The church is growing quickly.
Wonderful.
We're smooth sailing so far, and I'm just praising God for the people that he's sending to us and some of the things that he has us working on and getting out into the community.
Okay, come on and get your Shondo on. That's right. That's right.
Oh, yeah.
Man, listen, welcome. I know this is your first time on the show, man, and I'm so glad that you came. And we'll get Bishop later as he put you in as a pinch hitter because he could not get off work and some other things came up. But, man, I appreciate you. Alana, yes, we are on YouTube now. Yes, we are. We are on YouTube. So glad to see you. Definitely. And Justin, please tell us who you are, what you do, and definitely your passion when it comes to helping black men, not just spiritually, not just psychologically, but also helping us in our well-being, in our body. You know, it's that whole mind, body, soul that has to come together.
Absolutely. So my name is Justin Bertrand Pitts. I get the awesome privilege of being the campus pastor of the Houston location of Freedom Church. We are a Pentecostal-based, right? We're a Pentecostal-based progressive affirming ministry in the city of Houston. And we're just all about loving God, loving people, and just doing our best to please God. Now, in my full-time, my day-to-day, I'm actually the executive director of an organization called Men Incorporated, and I get the privilege on this end to work with young men, black and brown young men, between the ages of 8 and all the way to 25. And so we do everything from case management to one-on-one mentoring, group mentoring. We kind of approach the mentoring aspect from a holistic point of view. So where we're able to reach out and make sure that all of our students have the basic necessities, food, clothing, shelter, but also a safe space. And so a lot of our young men have been missing that. And so Men Incorporated
Yes.
is established to create that safe space to allow them to express themselves in a safe environment and to learn more about what they can become outside of their socioeconomic background.
You better give us the elevator pitch up in here today. Yes. but
I've given it enough to know it. Yeah.
Right. It just came right off too.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Let me write that check for $1 million to you. That's right.
And we thank you.
And we thank you. Yes. But Pastor Jay, talk to us. Why is that so important, especially in our today's society, to help out these young men, our Black and brown young men, to I love what you said, create that safe space, because that's so important, because we as men need it. So how do we help create that to I want to say affirm, to support all of that. What's up, Steve Dolphin? Yes, all of that with our young. And why is that so vitally critical today?
Okay, so it's super, super, super important to create that, because for so long, for decades, the tradition has been that Black men don't cry. We don't show emotion.
Yes.
And so all of that has been kind of cultivated in us. And so it's instilled in our young boys. And it's becoming to a point now where, and it's nothing new, but it's coming out now. It's being expressed in terms of anger. And that anger comes out in the classroom. And now they're labeled with something. So it's kind of like piled on. And that safe space that we create, that so many other organizations attempt to create also, that safe space is there to provide them that outlet to know that your emotions are what makes you human, and it's okay to be human. And a lot of times we've instilled in our boys that we're not human, we're men. Men aren't human, they're men, as if that's different from being a human being. And so it's super important that everybody remembers to, at least showcase your emotions as a man, so that other young boys can see that and model that experience of feeling what they feel in that moment.
Wow, that's so amazing. We need more organizations like that across America to let our young men know and it's okay that you don't know what to do with those emotions, and it's okay to explore them, to be age appropriate, and supporting them like that, because we're told to shut up, we're told don't cry, quit being a punk, you're being a sissy, men don't cry, all of those things, and we wonder why we are so messed up if we don't have positive role models and other men to give us permission to explore our emotions and how to put them, I say it this way, and to put them in check, if you will, and how to respond appropriately. And if we see that, it would help us in so many ways. So, man, I'm excited to have you here. Listen, let's bring on our next guest too, so we can start this conversation. And I'm going to say it this way: all hail to the Queen herself. She is not a stranger on this show, but Queen Latifah ain't the real queen. This is the Queen herself, Queen B, none other than the Reverend Dr. MarQuerita Story. Yes, all hail to the Queen. All hail to the Queen. How are you, darling?
I am absolutely fabulous, Marty. I'm so grateful to God to be with you and Pastor Justin on this evening for this talk. We're going to be talking about everything. And I like talking about everything.
Listen, Dr. Story, you're looking awful fabulous for to be so late at night in Philly, baby. You're looking good, baby.
Listen, you never know who might be on, sugar. I'm trying to get them unborn children a daddy.
Amen. Listen, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. That's right. That's
baby,
right.
I woke up like this.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Justin, see what kind of show we're going to have here tonight.
I see. Yes.
Dr. Story, how have you been? Remind the people who may not know you. I just don't know how they don't know you because you are regular on this. You the co-host. I don't say it like that. You the co-host. You the resident co-host up in here. But tell us how you been, who you are, and we're just glad to have you.
I'm the Reverend Dr. MarQuerita Story, and I am so godly grateful to be with you guys. I do ministry here on the right
Yes.
coast in so many ways, and God has
Uh-oh.
just blessed me to be able to minister to
Yes.
all. Individuals here, and it has been such a blessing to me. And this talk on tonight is something so important to me because I was raised with black men, doggone it, because
Yes.
all I
Yes.
have is brothers. And I love my daddy, and I know y'all gonna get tired of hearing about that, but you can forget about it because you're gonna hear about it every time I say so. Because I
Yes.
do. I love my Uncle Francis, my Uncle Cunt. I love my uncles, and that's something peculiar because I have such a patriarchal family, where
Yes.
most
Yes.
families are matriarchals. My
Mm-hmm.
dad is, I have very old men in our family,
Mm-hmm.
not only my father, but even on my mother's side of the family. It takes us a while to say goodbye to the land. And so we thank God for that. Hey there, Tanya. Here,
Yes.
it take them a while to say goodbye. And I was raised connected. And one of the things I wanted to say when Pastor Justin
Mm-hmm.
was talking about making sure that the young men that he works with are able to be in a safe
Mm-hmm.
environment so that they can
Yes.
emotionally be able to express themselves. It is not only good for them, but it's also
Mm-hmm.
good for their offspring because I had a very
Yes.
interactive father that I needed to have a balance in my life. And so when
Mm-hmm.
Pastor Justin was talking about that, that is so essential because kids, we're emotional. We're trying to learn different things, and to lose something can be devastating, or to not be able to do something could be quite devastating for us. And we need to not just have emotions suppressed, but we need for someone to be able to discuss what they may
Yes.
mean to us, and then for
Yes.
also our dads to be able to relate in some type of way to what's going on, because it is nothing like having a father that can laugh
Come
with
on.
you and a father that can
Yes.
provide for you, but then not have a father who can help you to go through grief or to express
Yes.
difficult emotions where you may definitely struggle to find the words, but you definitely need someone to
Yes.
aid you in that. So when Pastor Justin was mentioning that, I was like, I pray
Mm-hmm.
that they do it not just for themselves, because if they keep going and
Right.
growing as men, they're going to be heads of their own households
That's
and
right.
and and
That's right.
and impacting another generation. Even if they don't choose to become fathers, they'll be
Mm-hmm.
mentors of individuals and
That's right.
supervisors and all of that.
That's
and
right.
and we all need those good examples of black males that know how to
Mm-hmm.
express their
Mm-hmm.
emotions no matter where they are. And so I'm excited about this,
Yes.
and then
I
your
am too.
title of disgraced and discarded. We
Yes.
Such a charged uh
Isn't
title
it?
for me. It is
Yes.
it is charged because it is not just a dominant society doing that,
Mm-hmm.
Marty. There are also individuals within our own
Oh,
ranks who
yes.
will disgrace
Yeah,
others and
yeah.
discard them because of
Yes.
sexual orientation, because
Yes.
academic
Yes.
or financial prowess. I mean, we will
Or
just
can we even
go
saying being caught
believer.
up in the system. Yes, yes.
Absolutely,
That was
absolutely.
designed to set up against us. And then
Right,
when you get caught up and you can be at the right place at the wrong time, and before you know it,
right,
the whole trajectory of your life has changed in so many.
right.
Dr. Story, you're talking good to me. You're talking good because it's so. And Steve, I hear your question. We're gonna get. Listen, Steve Dolphin. Listen, we can come to Bosco and any other school for the right. These schools got some money, and we'll come. We'll take all your mental health money and come on. They got that millionaires tax out here in California. They got the millionaires tax. That's where all the mental health. Listen, we'll come and take some of that millionaires tax money. But
Yes,
Pastor
God.
Justin, talk to me about because I love your organization about the importance of a strong male figure in other young men's lives, because that's what I'm hearing your organization doing. And how was that even for you growing up?
Okay. So, for one, a lot of our young men have male figures in the home. It's not a
That's
consistent male
good.
figure, and it may not
Right.
necessarily be a most positive male figure, but there is a male figure
Okay.
there. So we have to kind of change the thinking of what a positive male figure would look like. And it's
That's
not the
good.
same for every young man. And so a
Right.
lot of times, the bulk of the time when we get into our services dealing with groups and with our one-on-ones, we spend a lot of time letting them express what a positive role model looks like, and then shaping what
Mm,
a positive male role model looks like, because
that's
it's
good.
different for every one of those boys. Um,
Right.
and it allows them to kind of see that it may not be the one in their home, but they do have somebody around them
Mhm.
that they can kind of look at,
Yeah.
yeah, as a mentor. And a lot of
I
times
love that.
mentoring isn't done on an official level. If you look
Mm,
at it, it may not be somebody that they know. It may just be somebody that they see in passing, their teacher at school that they used to have. That's a
that's
mentor to
good.
them, but and they'll
Yes.
never call them a mentor, but that's who they are. And we just create
Yes.
we allow them to kind of see that and form that is who a
Hmm.
mentor is for them,
Hmm.
and it doesn't have to be labeled as such. For me, I was
I love
fortunate
that.
because my father was a police officer, so he was there. My stepdad was there. Uncles, I had lots of uncles and cousins, and so I was very fortunate to have those role models to help me.
Hmm.
But I still made mistakes along the way. Even when I
Sure.
left home and I went off to school, when I lived with my uncle and aunt in Savannah, Georgia, I made several mistakes. But my
Hmm.
my my family, my dad, my uncles, they were the ones that said, okay, this is what you did, these are your consequences, and they held me
Mm.
responsible for that. And so a lot of our young men
That
don't
makes
have
such
someone
a
to hold them
difference.
responsible.
Mhm.
Yes, love it, Stephen. Stephen says mentorship is critical. That's the best way to model for these young boys. And I love,
Right.
if you don't know who Steve Dolphin is. Steve Dolphin, I call him the Dolphin. He has twin boys, um, and they go to Brown University. Now the price tag for a single person going to one child going to Brown University is on the upward of $75,000. So you got two boys going to Brown University, twins. Listen, but
Woo.
he knew the importance of value of mentorship along the way. That he didn't. He spoiled them with love. He spoiled them with, they had all the necessities, but they made conditional sacrifices as a family, looking
Yeah,
at
yeah.
their future. Could they have
Yeah.
bought this huge, wonderful mansion? Of course, but they said, but we want to make sure you have the best. Now, them about to be some brain surgeons and everything, because I'm going to need them to work on Uncle Marty, because he a little cray cray at times. But and I don't want to bill after they work on Uncle Marty either. So because I need the family hookup. But y'all, can we talk now about this whole Ryan Coogler incident? Now, if I got
Yeah.
my money in the bank, now this is Marty. I don't know. I never been a bank teller. I probably my credit at the time wasn't good enough. They was like, no, this Negro going, he can't be the teller. He can greet the people, but he can't be the teller. Um, but if I'm depositing my hard-earned money into the I go into my bank and I need them to know who I am first and foremost. I go, hey, oh, there's Mr. Sellers. Yeah, I need you. I'm here. Because I remind them I got 10 accounts up in this mug, so I need you to recognize who I am when I come in, because I might decide I want to pull all my money and I might want it in quarters and nickels. I don't want no hard feelings. However, I want my money. I want my money. But talk to me, Dr. Story, about Ryan Coogler. And he went in there to get his money, but next thing you know, you got some policemen saying, step back from the counter. What the
world?
Thank you.
One of the things that this thing really bothered me, because I thank God that Ryan Coogler actually have money in the bank. Like with me, if I go to the bank, for me, my bank is made in such a way that if you don't actually make a deposit, you can't pull nothing out. I don't know if everybody's bank account is like that, but mine is like that. So it's no need for me to go to the bank as often as y'all seem to have to go. But Ryan Coogler reminds me that you're just not even safe doing routine things for your own life. You can take for granted that being Black and being, I've given you my ID. I've put in the code that I need to put in. I told you I'm taking out a significant amount of money. I just want you to be discreet. I don't want you counting $12,000 out loud and hollering at me like we at the Walmart. Just be discreet with it.
Maybe it was the Bank of America at the Walmart he went to.
At the Walmart.
Yeah, but I mean, and then even still, you arrest my friends riding with me. How I get arrested because he robbing the bank? Like how
guilty by association.
That's exactly right. But they were all African American males, and the point that I want to try to get to with this is that Black men are so stigmatized in the U.S. as being bums and not having anything. And when you look at the way he's dressed, I know they were judging him because of wearing a sweatsuit. I want to give you an example. Lil Eddie, my baby brother, he does therapeutic services for those that are doing that ain't his name. But Edward Garrison is his name, not Lil Eddie, at 6'3", 350 pounds.
Little.
Why y'all have Lil Eddie? He does therapeutic services for people who have problems with drugs and alcohols and work with their families and all of that. And he's excellent at it. But because he's a therapist, he works when he wants to, like you do, Marty. He comes, works with his clients when he wants to. And Lil Eddie had motorcycles and, at home wearing, pants and all of that, just looking like a dude, just a regular Black man. And so his neighbors called one of the undercover agents in their community and said, I believe we have a drug dealer living beside me.
Oh my.
Because this man has 3 vehicles. His wife have a motorcycle. He got a motorcycle. He never goes to work. He always has on pants hanging down, sagging and everything. Now, let me tell you what happened though. The guy, the undercover agent that they tell, he says, I'm going to look into it. It's one of my brother's friends that ride bikes with him.
Right. I love it.
Yeah. And so he was just like, yo, Ed, man, they think you a drug dealer. They don't know you do therapeutics, but they don't know what he does. But because he didn't wear a shirt and tie all the time, because he ran his own business, he was. It was just natural for his neighbors to believe that he was a drug dealer, like he was a tax paying
that we can. Yes, that we cannot own or have a sustainable and acceptable wages and living way of life, that in order for us to have all these things, there's no way I can be, one, intelligent enough, and two, have a 9 to 5 per se that is law abiding in that regards.
Correct.
Justin, tell us about your thoughts about the whole Ryan Coogler, because I'm not gonna lie, I was hot.
Me too.
Yeah. The thing that stood out to me the most is it amazes me how a black man can be profiled as such because he's not wearing that, and you don't know he's a millionaire. But Mark Zuckerberg and Jeff Zeb, whatever his name, they don't wear that all the time. And so
sir.
It amazes me that we get judged because of that. But then on the other hand, if we're rappers and we got Gucci, Fendi, and what are all these other things going on,
he's Gucci. It ain't real Gucci.
It's not. It's borrowed ones and dollar bills and all that they throwing. It amazes me that we get judged on both ends of it. So we can't.
Right. You're absolutely.
There's no.
You can't win for losing.
Yeah, it's a lose-lose. And so it irritated me because once I realized who he was, much like them, you don't identify who that person is, but I never would have went to the extreme of pressing the silent alarm and all of that. It just she didn't do enough due diligence on her end to see who this person was.
Right.
Now let me play devil's advocate. Now first, I just assumed, y'all, it was a white bank teller, a white woman that did all of that. It wasn't.
I don't know. Yeah.
It was one of us. And then I got even angrier. And again, now I've heard it. Now Daryl's mom has told me, and thank you so much, Mrs. Mitchell. We appreciate your candor on this, that she used to be in the bank. And so maybe it was a little suspicious how he wrote the note out saying, hey, just being discreet. But here's my challenge. The brother gave his ID, the brother gave his bank card, and the brother put in his PIN number. What more do I need to give? Blood? Do I need to give my passport? Do I need to promise my firstborn? Do I need to show my I was going to say my EBT card, Lord Jesus. Do I need to show do I need to show my vaccination records? What do I need to do to prove that I am who I am and the money that I have is my money? Because he kept going, wait a minute, check my ID. So I hear you. Now they all should be fired. Go ahead,
Marty. The other part of it is I would like to say I just think those men were just incredibly fortunate that they didn't end up dead as well.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when we look at this, police seem to be extremely aggressive when they know that it's an African American male that is alleged to have participated in something. And I was just grateful that nobody got hurt, because some things just have just escalated. So I don't
had a George
like
Floyd
the fact
on our hand.
It could have been anything, and God knows we'd have tore this nation up after we all figured out that he had did the Black Panther movie. We'd have tore this whole thing up because we didn't know who he was either, baby.
Because they ain't finished the second. They ain't finished the second one yet, so we need him.
Don't y'all be surprised. Bank of America is going to be the major sponsor of Black Panther 2. Watch. Just as sure as my name is Martinez.
All of his kids to school. They're sending all his kids to school because he's like, I got 6 kids and 6 baby mamas, so hook it up. And
it's gonna be a Bank of America ATM in Wakanda. Watch. It's gonna be an ATM sitting right there. Sure is.
It needs to be one. It needs to be one. But when I was looking at Marty, with you talking about being disgraced and discarded, one of the things I was looking at is just some of the mental health issues that are there. And when I looked it up, Rutgers University had done a study in 2018, and they had suggested that African Americans, men, die police brutality and violence higher than
Yes.
homicide, higher
Yes.
than accidents, higher than
Yes.
suicide, higher than heart disease, higher than HIV, higher than AIDS, and
My
higher than
God.
cancer. So then Black men could probably live
Hmm.
with cancer, HIV, AIDS, even recover from a
Come on.
suicide than to be in connection with a police officer because of the violence. The other thing that they were suggesting was that there is such an emotional response
Yes.
to even the presence of
Come on.
police
You're
officers
talking to me.
that Black men have such an emotive response to
Hmm.
their presence. Some with anger, and
Yes.
men with fear, and really not knowing how to react and respond because of
Yes.
that fight, flight, or fight. That is a
Yes.
natural reaction and response when you
Yes.
know you're in danger.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that
And
that
so
pulls
then,
me back because I remember. Go ahead.
no, no, go on, baby.
No, I said that reminds me of is when I had just graduated from UC Berkeley, and I completed my first year of law school, and I was going to see my daughter, and I left about, I don't know, about midnight or something, and all of a sudden I was pulled over and sat on the curb with that bright light on me. And I kept going, can you please tell me why I have been pulled over? Now, this is in Orange County, not too far from Disneyland. Now, ain't too many of us, because one, we can barely afford Disneyland. Take a whole year's salary just to have a donut up in Disneyland. And I kept saying, why? And then my driver's license at the time had said Oakland, California. And they're like, well, why are you from Oakland? I said, well, you still haven't told me why I was pulled over. Well, why does your license say Oakland, California, and not here in Southern California? I said, well, if you must know, I'm a graduate from UC Berkeley. I'm attending the University of San Francisco, where I'm in law school right now. Oh, so you're so the whole thing. And then they gave me a ticket because they couldn't read the month. They said they couldn't read the month that my license had expired on my car. But that is so much like right, PTSD whenever drives behind me. So, Justin, do you feel the same way that when you see a police car, you immediately go, let me slow down, 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock, what's my speed? Look in the rearview mirror. Am I doing anything right? I know I do get that at times with that. What about you, Justin, as a Black man and you see a police officer?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Even though my father's been in law enforcement for 40 something years, I still, every time I see a police officer behind me, if they're driving past me, it still clicks because when they look at me, they don't know that my dad was a cop. They don't know that they don't know you're a preacher. They just see a Black man. And so, it triggers something. And even working in the environment in Houston, Texas, I work in the Galleria area, which is fancy, but I live in Sunnyside, which is a historically Black neighborhood. It's currently being gentrified. So even coming and going from those two neighborhoods, I have to be very careful.
Right. And that's a common factor, and I agree, because when you look at the lifespan of Black men versus the lifespan of our white counterparts versus the lifespan of our Hispanic counterparts, the Black man's lifespan is about 10 years less than that of their white counterparts. I mean, if you survive having to go through police brutality or any of those other things, I had the amazing opportunity before he died to meet and talk to Rodney King. And this is post the Rodney King incident, and just to hear, you could tell that they had done something because his soul wasn't the same, and I think they gave him such a concussion that I would have put him on the spectrum at that point, a little bit of traumatic brain injury, TBI, as a result of what he had been through. So how many other Black men are afraid of that very same thing happening to them? So we got to look at that. So the Ryan Coogler. Anything else with that, Dr. Story? Go ahead, Justin. I see you.
So I think it was Stephen that just made the statement about the policing conversation with boys. So yeah,
Yes.
there is a curriculum that we use that labels out step by step, and I was trying to look up the name of it real quick. But there's a curriculum that we use that they go step by step in
That's good.
how to respond when you are pulled over by a police officer,
Wow.
or when you're in an environment where the police is prone to come. And when I opened that book, it amazed me, because the environment where police are prone to come are things like shopping malls and grocery stores, and it's places where everybody goes on a regular basis. But because of the color of their skin, it lists out these things at a greater risk.
Wow.
So yeah, there's several conversations that we have with our boys, like how to respond and how to engage with police officers. But because of the fact that they see differently in their neighborhoods, we have to continuously have that conversation. Yeah.
Pastor
No,
Justin, I
agree.
want to add to that, if I can, because we're in New York and we're about to regain stop and frisk. So we just stop people because we just think you might be black, and we frisk you, and we identify you, and we can detain you and fingerprint you just because you look like you could be doing something problematic or troublesome. And that was something that was taken out of effect. And now the current mayor is looking at bringing that back. And that's a little different because you can tell people how to engage, or children how to engage, because we had those classes in Brooklyn when stop and frisk was at its best. And that is a terrible thing to allow to happen. Somebody wants that resource. We're going to try to find that for you, Pastor Justin. They were asking for that resource. But one of the things that makes it hard is that there is an onus and a responsibility that I believe the police also need to have when they're dealing with black boys. Because I don't care what you say. I don't know how you don't know what a child looked like when he black, but you do know what a child looked like when he white. Because when I was there, I had some black boys with hard bottom shoes on, going to a doggone private school, walking with a backpack on, a tie halfway pulled down, and they're over on the side of a building with their arms up. And because y'all acted like they're a threat, ain't nothing threatening about this little boy. It's some doggone Docker pants and a button-up shirt
And
with a
some
tie on
hard
his neck.
bottom
What
shoes.
is he getting ready to do? And they would do that because then they could get their telephone number and their information, and they can enter them into a system early. And so those types of things, we would teach them: be courteous, answer, and do what you want. But the police also have a role and a responsibility to not target our children, and to systematically begin to enter them into the system when they're answering, because the kids in New York, they have their IDs, and that thing burns me up when you got an 11 and 12-year-old who now their mother's information has been inputted and their address has been inputted, and they have done nothing but go the path that they go on back and forth to school. And so I think it's a dual activity, and I think it's even more threatening there. And then I'm going to add it, and don't nobody have to say nothing, and I'm going to add it because I feel like it.
Go ahead.
It also impacted the trans as well as
come on.
the LGBTQ community, because then they also were getting stopped and frisked, and they were getting hurt and harmed by individuals because they did not like the way they look. And so we've got to get to the place where we are understanding we cannot legislate what humanity looks like, but we've got to start demanding that people stop being disgraced, because to be disgraced means that we're putting people to shame and discrediting them, and we're discrediting them for no doggone good reason, but other than what your prejudice says about them, not their behavior. They're standing, walking with a coffee cup or with a sippy cup in their hand, or pushing and shoving each other because they're little boys playing with each other, and y'all got them up against the wall.
Behavior.
Which is normal.
With boys. With boys.
Yes.
You don't have a playground for them. You don't have an after-school program for them. Of course, they're going to be doing some little stuff like that, but they're not menacing. and they're not doing
Yes.
anything that's inappropriate.
Yes.
And so we do need to begin to have some conversations that are uncomfortable as well, because no one else
Yes.
gets to decide that they have a right to do that because of a prejudice, of a prejudgment
Yes.
that I
A
pass by
preconceived.
somebody that
Yes.
I believe looks like a threat or a danger
Right.
to the
Right.
community. That's unfair. And then I wanted to add as well that this is also sinking over because we've been so silent with our black men.
Mm-hmm.
It's also
Mm-hmm.
sinking over with black women, because y'all could call
Yes.
a couple of black girls names out that done got beat to into their life or murdered
Yeah.
as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because when you
Mm-hmm.
start allowing it with one, baby, it go for
It
all.
just goes over the all.
Yeah.
Yes. And
Yeah.
that's so let me ask you this, ministers of the gospel. What role does now, since our melanin is strikes so much fear? That's right in them that we all, yes, we want the, but justice is not for us. I hear you. I hear you. What role then does the modern
Yeah.
church, the modern black church, have in making these having these uncomfortable conversations? Because I believe that on the other side of uncomfortable conversations, I'm gonna bite this word, is freedom. Come on, Freedom Church.
Yeah.
On the other side of
Yeah.
having these difficult conversations and holding people accountable is joy, is freedom.
Yeah.
It frees us
Yeah.
from and to educate us. So what responsibility? We can no longer be silent in this, but we have to speak up, even if it means that making other people uncomfortable. I love that the problem goes back to the recruitment of white men to become policemen and the placement of these men in communities that they are not comfortable with. I agree with that, Michelle. I want to say this too. Why is it in our police academies that you can have a high school diploma but not have some sort of formal 4-year degree? I'm about making them all have 4-year degrees, because you've given people who don't have any power, giving them all the power. And I think you need a 4-year degree so that you can have some psychological training, some psychology classes, some sociology classes, some algebra, some college level stuff, so that you understand those dynamics as well. Now that's just Marty's thoughts on that.
I agree.
But what role,
I
I
agree.
agree.
Brother Jeff?
I completely
Yeah.
agree.
Minister, Pastor Justin, that the church has today with having these hard conversations, so we don't have a Ryan Coogler, and we ain't even touched Jussie
That's
Smollett
right.
yet. Lord Jesus, that's going to have
No,
to be another show.
I
We
think
need to give him some
what you
meds,
just
baby,
said.
but that's okay.
Okay, right, and a hug. I think what
Right.
you just said, Marty, that's true. The church
Yeah.
just has to have those uncomfortable conversations, because
Yes.
we've gotten so settled in the fact that naming and claiming
Yes.
is still getting you killed in the streets. So now you have to step
Come
outside of
on.
naming and claiming and start doing some kind of activism, some social justice, some social education about the people who are
Yes.
sitting in the pews, and bringing the community in to talk to
That's
those same
good.
people. It has to be an exchange from the pew
Yes.
to the street. And
Yes.
I kind of want to say this, but it's going to be bad on some ends. But thank God for COVID, because
all
it
right.
forced us outside of the doors, and it
Mhm.
made us
Mhm.
look at other ways to minister to the people who are in the church, and the people who are outside the church looking in, saying they ain't about nothing but an offering.
Mhm.
So it made
Mhm.
us have a different conversation, but we
Mm.
have to continue to have those same kind of uncomfortable
Mhm.
conversations in order to really
Mhm.
push the narrative and say, we're
Most
not going to take
definitely.
this anymore. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
And if I could
Dr. Story,
add to
talk
what
to us.
yeah,
Mhm.
if I could add to what Pastor Justin is saying, I also believe that the pulpit has been quite complicit, because I think we play games with those that are in politics.
Come
We
on.
bring them in, we usher them in, we give them
Yes.
platforms in our church.
That.
We act like
Yes.
we're in
Yes.
support of what they're doing.
Yes.
We do back deals with them for $5,000 little
Ooh,
Rudy Poop
yeah.
grants, and then we put our communities in danger. And because of us being complicit, we are watching them stand
You
back
better
when there's
talk.
violence going on in our communities. We're
Yes.
watching them be overly aggressive when there's some things that
Yes.
they could just bring down and de-escalate. We are watching them not respond in our communities in the same time periods
Yes.
that they respond to other communities. And so because of the platform that we have, we've got to get to the place where we forget we're not speaking truth to power. We are the power. We got
The power.
power
That's
from the
right.
Yes.
living
Yeah.
God. What are you
Come
talking about?
on.
Yeah.
Dunamis
Yeah.
power. Come on, don't you play
Yeah,
with me.
That's we do.
it really irritated me with the old church, well, with churches general. You pull politicians in at election time, but you don't pull them in when
Mm-hmm.
it's time to talk about what happened down on the corner. And you don't
Right.
see your county
Talk.
judge, you don't see your city council member, you don't see them until election
Right.
time come around, and you welcome them in. But
Mhm.
you should push them right on back out the door, baby. I didn't see you 2 months ago. Gone. No, you're
Right.
not coming
I'm
to
gonna
freedom
welcome him
to
in,
sit
all
up here and
right.
talk to
I'll be
my
like,
people.
I got some questions for you. We didn't
Yes.
see you at this, and this. What's your response?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Come
We
to
got
freedom
another
if you
question
want
for
to.
you.
I'm gonna put my sermon on hold because we about to do Q&A.
That's right.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the
Y'all,
people, Pastor Justin, but what you guys are bringing up, the people in our community, he's in a gentrified community that they trying to push them out of it, and so then
yeah,
now
yes.
the people that are being violated potentially by or not protected or provided for are in the pews. That's why you've got to
Yes.
say something. It's not like you're going into
Yes.
another community trying to find somebody to react or respond to. They are the same doggone folk.
same people.
And we've got
Yes.
to have enough courage to be able to stand. We've got to stop acting like these individuals are Nebuchadnezzar and they can create their own images. We're going to bow down every time they get a song and we're going
Come
to
on,
do whatever they
Nebuchadnezzar.
tell us to do. We've got to have the courage of those who call themselves
Yes.
Christians to stand up for
Yes.
righteousness. And so then now we've got terrorized, terrified
Mm-hmm.
boys and
Mm-hmm.
men running around our communities. And then we've got people who have been emotionally wrecked by
Wow.
experiences that we've
Yes.
seen
Yes.
or been through. And then you don't know why they don't know how to behave. Well, let's start at the top.
Yeah,
That's good.
yeah,
That's good because that goes back to what are we modeling? And we're modeling
yes,
that again, like you were saying earlier, we have discarded and disgraced our own communities because by
Absolutely.
indeed, as Steve, by pulling those same crooked politicians in, I'm tired
hmm
of a chicken dinner and $1,000 in the handshake. Listen, we got to do more than that. I'm not going to sell my soul and sell the lives of
Right.
other people just for temporary gain and a
Mm-mm.
short-lived gain at that. And we have to do better in that because we have a spiritual and ethical and a
Mhm.
moral obligation to
Yes.
stand and call out injustice when we do. They come only for your votes. You're right, Sister Flo. I
Right.
see you.
exactly.
You're right. You're right. You're
Mhm.
right. So
Mhm.
so so
And they
what,
can't
what's
have
our
our vote. Mm.
They can't. They can't. What's our call to action for our people in such a time as this? Because one of the things that I know our church did when we saw that this happening and the increased police brutality, we called a town hall just for all the men and young men at our church, and we brought in black police officers and parole officers and all of this. And we did this comply first, complain later, because we wanted you to first get and save your life. And then,
Right.
Yeah,
listen, tell us, and we'll come behind you and support you
Mhm.
with the
Mhm.
complaint in that regards, because we value your life and that you live to see another day. And
yes,
that's
Mhm.
one of the charges we gave to our people. Comply first, complain
Mhm.
later, and
Mhm.
get well everything. Here's how you complain. May I get your name and your badge number, please? Because they
Mhm.
have to give those things to you. Then call one of us so that we now can sit and talk about this problem collectively, so they know that you have support on your side, and you got all these 100+ black men that's going to come right alongside you in this territory. So
Mhm.
very, very,
Mhm.
very
oh
smart,
yeah.
y'all.
Mhm.
Can you believe our time is almost gone? Listen, Pastor Jay. Listen, we need a part two of this because this was so good, and I can't
Yes.
thank you
We
both
didn't reach
enough
the
and keeping
second
y'all up
person on
late.
the list.
We did. I ain't touching that one. We didn't need
Okay.
the second person on the list. He did. Anyway, Pastor Jay, what do you tell? I'm not dealing with him. See, Bishop Shon, I won't blame him.
Yeah, I know. I knew who that was. I didn't know who Ryan was, so I wasn't prepared to talk about him that much. But I know who Jussie is. But okay, I'll come back. Let's do part two.
I can't wait to talk to Jesse and talk about
It's the
Jesse.
juicy, yeah.
Jesse.
Not
Jesse.
Jussie Smollett.
Juicy.
You know,
Juicy.
Steven, you wrong.
Juicy.
You
No,
wrong
I
for that.
said he
You
from
wrong for
down
that.
south, baby. I said he from down south because his mother said I did not say Jesse. I said Juicy.
Just
Juicy.
I
Yeah,
can't. Pastor Jay,
sorry.
what do you want to tell the people about how do we act? How do you want to encourage your young men? If you were talking to your young men from your organization, what would you tell them about this whole Ryan Coogler incident? And what would be your words of encouragement and challenge and change that you would charge them?
One, I would tell them to not apologize, one, for the fact that you've been successful. Don't apologize or feel
That's
guilty
good.
because
That's good.
you are successful. But make your presence known in a way
Yeah.
that lets them know you are successful, you are somebody, and this is where you belong. And don't back down from that. Like
That's
you said,
good.
comply now, complain later, but let them know I am who I am. I am successful.
Yes.
This is my right to do this, to be here, to be me. And then make sure that you let somebody else see you in your whole authentic
Yes.
self so that they know next time
Yes.
around, when I come in here next time, I want all my money out. I'm not asking for
Yes.
this amount. I want it all.
I
Yeah,
want
he
it
had
all.
Chase Bank now. Yeah, he had
Yeah.
Chase.
You
Yeah.
might want to get
Listen,
somebody and get over to Navy Federal somewhere. Because stop playing with them other banks.
Huh.
listen, y'all gonna get me in the Navy Federal. But I love that because you remind our young people, I am somebody. And we have to instill that. We have to stop the stinking thinking that they are discarded and disgraced because they are somebody. There are today and there are future for tomorrow, our future doctors, our future lawyers. If anything, I want to empower them to make a difference by getting better than what they are. Yes. Dr. Story, talk to us. Words of encouragement.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with Pastor Justin as well. One of the things that I realize and recognize is that the strength of our community is only as strong as our men are. And that one
Yes.
of the reasons why our communities are failing is because the system sees that we're
Mm,
vulnerable because our men are so few and far between. And so just as Pastor Justin was saying, they've got to show up. You can't send your wife for everything. Your girl can't go take care of
right.
all of the business. You
Right.
run this thing,
Right.
doggone it. You
Right.
Jesse, you done robbed this train. You show up at the schools. You not a stepdaddy. You are the parent in control. You know what
That's
I mean?
right.
We gotta
That's
start
right.
giving different images out there because we've got some incredible young men with great mind. They don't even push the clocks. They got their own businesses, rocking it hard. Brilliant black
Yes.
men doing all kinds of things.
Yes.
But I think it's been safer to be shut in. I think it's been safer for somebody
Mm,
else to stand up and be that image. And now we need them to have the courage to be their own image. I don't
yes.
care with locks in their hair. I don't care what it is. They've got to do that for our community in order for us to regain our own strength. We've assimilated for far too long.
Too
Now we've
long.
got to be identified as who we are
Who
and
we are,
and
yeah.
ones who deserve the same privileges that everyone else
Yes.
has. Stop
Yeah.
identifying us just because you could see a difference. and you never know the
Mm,
difference because you
Yeah.
won't give us a
mm.
chance. But I just want our black men to go be amazing, doggone, show up at everywhere, at the drugstore,
All over.
everywhere,
That's
show
right.
up everywhere
That's
and
right.
be everywhere, and be everywhere present. As well, because all of our black men are not hoodlums and thugs. We got some brilliant
That's
black
right.
men. I know our numbers are
That's
going
right.
down. I know they're going down,
Mhm.
but they can come right back up with that mentorship and that encouragement. That's all our babies need is opportunity and options. And they can do some
Yes.
incredible things, and they have it. It may not come from the source they
Yes.
believe, but they have opportunities and options all around them. And they better believe that. And I don't care how many closed doors they see. They better believe all they've got is
Mhm. Yeah.
opportunity and options.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. I agree
Yeah.
with you because we know studies are showing that the suicide and the suicide attempt rate has increased dramatically in our y'all 11 to
Yeah.
24-year-old. 11.
Yeah.
And it just
Yeah.
breaks my heart because how at 11 do you feel the only way out of this pain is to end my life? And we have a responsibility to change the narrative of the black man and rewrite our own stories. I'm with both of you to let them know you are brilliant. You are the bomb. You
Mhm.
are the inventors. You are the entrepreneurs. You are the head and not the tail.
And
So
not
that
the
we pour
tail.
that
Yeah.
into it. And we have to share that story if we're going to make a difference in these so that we are what one writer says right here. We are losing an entire generation due to suicide and maladaptive thoughts and behaviors that is killing our black men.
Mhm.
And if we don't put ourselves in a pandemic, where are we going to be? Dr. Story, Pastor Justin, I cannot thank both of you enough. I'm with you that it breaks my heart when I just sat in on a training 2 weeks ago about this, and the leading a black male suicide out of Missouri, Dr. Joe, was talking about that. I'm trying to get him out here to California because I'm going to be shouting from the rooftops so that we can change the trajectory of the lives of black men. Daryl, because it's late, I'm going to go straight to the exit with them here on the show as well. Listen, we cannot thank you enough for joining us for this week's Mental Health Marty. We are so glad that you've joined us. Listen, if this has been a blessing to you, please like and share. We got Pastor Justin. I cannot thank Pastor Justin enough. Cannot thank Dr. Story enough. This is just part one, y'all. We may have to come back and do this part two. Stay tuned. Share this with other black men because you are not alone. We don't want you to continue to secretly suffer in silence in the shadow of shame, but we want you to speak up, speak out, and live. But more importantly, we want you to enjoy your life. We'll see you next week. God bless.